Welcome to the Korean Mafia romance stories.
The most feared man in Boston bleeds out on my table, and I tell him no, let that sink in the doors. Burst open just past midnight. A rush of cold air and chaos follows. Two men in dark coats drag him in. Leaving a trail of blood across the ER floor, nurses freeze. For half a second, doctors look up then. Look away like they already know who he is. I do not stop moving, get him on the table. I say, my voice cuts through the noise, sharp, automatic. My hands are already gloved, already pressing into the wound. Before they even lift him, he is heavy, not just in weight, but in presence, even unconscious. He feels dangerous, like something coiled and waiting. His shirt is soaked through, dark blood still spilling from a deep tear along his side. One of the men leans close, his voice low, urgent, save him. I glance up. Once that is when I see his face, Daniel Kwon. Everyone in this city knows that name. They do not say it out loud. They whisper it. They avoid it. They survive around it. I look back down at the wound pressure. I say, clamp ready, move. The room moves again like a machine forced back into motion. He wakes up halfway through, his eyes snap open, sharp, aware, not confused, not afraid. Pain hits him. I see it in the tightening of his jaw and the way his fingers twitch against the table, but he does not make a sound. You should not be awake for this, I tell him. His gaze locks on mine, steady, unblinking. Do it, he says, no hesitation, no weakness. I have seen men twice his size beg, cry, break over less. I have watched people fall apart for far smaller injuries, not him. I work faster, cutting deeper, cleaning the wound. Blood keeps coming, but I stay with it, focused. Controlled, his breathing shifts, rough, but measured, like he is forcing his body to obey. Someone tries to hand me a syringe. I shake my head. He stays like this, I say. He is not losing control on my table. Minutes stretch tight and silent, except for the sound of instruments and breath. When it is done, I step back, pulling off my gloves. The worst of it is over. He is not dying tonight. One of the men steps forward. Relief flashes across his face for just a second. Then he pulls out a thick envelope and places it on the tray beside me. Payment, he says. I look at it, then at him, then at Daniel. No, I say. The word lands heavier than anything else in the room. The man frowns. You do not understand. I do, I reply, and I still do not want it. Silence drops hard. Daniel studies me, then really studies me. Like he is trying to figure out what I am. Most people look at him and see a monster. I see something else, not weakness, not goodness, just a man covered in scars, holding himself together with control. You should take it, he says finally, his voice low, calm, like he is used to being obeyed. I meet his gaze. I am not for sale. Something shifts in his expression, not anger, not amusement, something quieter, something unfamiliar. For the first time, I think he does not know what to do. Good, I say, stepping away from the table. You will live. That is all you get from me. I turn before anyone can stop me, before the weight of who he is settles into the room again. But I feel it anyway, his eyes on me, not leaving. And somehow I know this is not over. I tell myself it ends when he walks out of that hospital. I tell myself men like Daniel Kwon belong to a world that runs parallel to mine, close enough to bleed into it, but never meant to stay. I am wrong. 3 days pass before I see him again. 3 long shifts, no sleep, too much coffee, not enough quiet. The ER does not care who you saved last night. It only cares who is dying now. I am halfway through suturing a kid with a busted lip. When the room changes, it is not loud. It is not obvious. It is just a shift in the air, like pressure dropping before a storm. I feel it before I look up. He is standing at the doorway, not bleeding, not broken, not even limping. The man on my table 3 nights ago looks untouched now, like the damage never happened. Dark suit, clean lines, no weakness, control, rebuilt the room, notices people always do, conversations, lower eyes slide away. Nurses suddenly remember other things they need to do. No one tells him to leave. No one ever does. I finish the last stitch, tie it clean, and send the kid off with instructions. Only then do I turn to him fully. You should not be here, I say. He does not move closer. Not yet. I wanted to see if you were real, he replies. I almost laugh. That is a strange way to thank someone. His gaze does not waver. I did not come to thank you. Of course, he did not. I pull off my gloves, drop them into the bin. You are fine, I say. You survived. Congratulations, now leave a flicker of something crosses his face, not anger, not offense, something. Quieter, almost like interest. Most people do not talk to me like that. He says that sounds like their problem, not mine. Silence stretches between us, but it is not empty, it is charged like something building neither of us. Willing to step back, he finally moves, then slow, deliberate steps into my space, not invading, not threatening, just present. You saw me. He says, I frown, I treated you. That is my job. No, he replies softer than before. You saw me. The words land differently than they should. I push it away. I see a lot of things. I say blood, broken bones, people who think they are invincible until they are not. You are not special. For the first time, his mouth almost curves, not a smile, not really, but close. Good. He says, I do not ask what that means. I do not want to know. A nurse passes behind me, glancing between us, tension written all over her face. I ignore it. I focus on him. On the way, he stands like everything around him belongs to him, even this place that smells like antiseptic and fear. You should leave again. I say quieter this time, not because I am afraid, but because I am tired. He studies me like he is memorizing something. Then he nods once, sharp, final. I will, he says, but he does not turn immediately. He lingers just long enough to make the moment stretch, just long enough for something unspoken to settle between us. Then he is gone. I tell myself that should be it. It is not. I start noticing things after that, small things that do not belong. A car parked too long across the street, faces I have never seen before appearing more than once, a shadow that seems to follow just outside the edges of my day. I am not paranoid. I am observant. There is a difference, and I know what. This is him, not watching me exactly, not threatening, not interfering. Just there. I should be angry. I should report it. I should push back. Instead, I ignore it until the night. Everything breaks. I stay late finishing paperwork. The hospital is quieter now, not empty, but slower. The kind of calm that only comes in short, fragile bursts. I hear it before I see it, a sound that does not belong, a muffled impact, a voice cut short. I step into the hallway and freeze. Two men stand at the far and one on his knees, the other holding him down, blood already pooling beneath them. And Daniel, he stands over them, expression empty, hand steady as he finishes what he started. No hesitation, no noise, just efficiency. It is not a fight, it is a decision. My stomach tightens, but I do not look away. That is my first mistake. His head turns slowly like he felt me before he saw me. Our eyes meet, time stops. There is no panic in him, no surprise, no guilt, just awareness, sharp and immediate. I should run, I should scream, I should pretend I never saw anything. I do not move, neither does he. For a second that stretches too long. We just stand there looking at each other across the distance between two worlds that were never supposed to collide. Then he moves, not toward me, not yet, toward the men on the floor, finishing the moment, closing it like it never happened. Only when it is done does he look back at me. You should not be here, he says. Quietly, the same words I said to him. I swallow, forcing my voice steady. You should not either. Something shifts again, deeper this time, something dangerous. He takes a step closer, and I realize, too late, I did not just see the monster saw me back. I should have walked away that night. I should have pretended I saw nothing. I should have stayed in my world and left his untouched. Instead, I stand there looking at him, and he looks back like this. Moment is already decided. You saw too much, he says, quietly, not a threat, not loud, just a fact. I cross my arms, forcing my voice steady. Then you should have done it somewhere else. A flicker passes through his eyes, something sharp, something almost dangerous, but not directed at me. Most people would be running right now, he says. Most people did not just watch you kill someone and stay calm, I reply. That almost gets a reaction from him. Almost. He steps closer now, slow, deliberate, closing the distance between us. I do not move. I refuse to give him that. You are not afraid, he says. No, I am not. That makes you a problem. I let out a breath. You could solve that easily. Silence stretches heavy between us. I feel the weight of what I just said, but I do not take it back. He studies me longer this time, like he is trying to decide something important, something irreversible. If I wanted you dead, he says finally, you would not be standing here. I hold his gaze. Then what do you want? For the first time since I met him, he does not answer immediately. That is when I realize this is not about control for him, not entirely. This is something else. You are coming with me. He says. I blink. Once processing the words, no, I am not. You are, he repeats, calmer now, like the decision is already made. I take a step back. You do not get to decide. That his jaw tightens just slightly. You do not understand what you are in now. Then explain it. I shoot back. Another pause, shorter this time. You are a witness, he says, and people will come for you. I almost laugh. That is not my problem. It becomes your problem the moment someone decides you are a loose end. Still, I shake my head. I am not going anywhere with you. He exhales slowly, like he is losing patience. But holding it in, then you leave me no choice. Before I can react, his hand closes around my wrist, not rough, not violent, but firm enough that I cannot pull away. My body tenses. Instantly, I look up at him. Anger flashing. Do not touch me. His grip loosens just enough to show he heard me, but he does not let go. I am not hurting you, he says. You are not asking either. No, I am not. That honesty hits harder than anything else. For a second, I consider fighting him, making noise, drawing attention, but I look down the hallway and see nothing, no witnesses, no safety, just a world that already shifted the moment I stayed fine. I say through clenched teeth, you get me out of here, then what? Then you stay where I can keep you alive. I let out a dry laugh that sounds like a prison. It is safer than the alternative, he replies. I hate that he believes that I hate. That part of me understands it. The ride is quiet, no blindfold, no threats, just silence thick and heavy between us. I watch the city pass by, lights flickering against the window. Everything looks the same, but it feels different now. Like I cross into something I cannot step back from. We stop in front of a building that does not look like anything special, clean, modern, quiet, the kind of place no one questions. Inside it is even worse, controlled, minimal, everything exactly where it should be. He finally lets go of my wrist. You can sit, he says. I stay standing. I am not staying here. You are for now. I fold my arms. Again, you keep saying that, like I have no choice. You do not, he answers simply. Anger spikes sharp and immediate. I take a step toward him. You do not get to decide my life. Something shifts in his expression, then not anger, not dominance, something else, frustration. I am trying to keep you breathing, he says, lower now, more controlled. I do not need you to do that. Yes, you do. The words hit harder than they should. Silence falls again, but this time it is different. Not just tension, something building underneath. It's something neither of us fully understands, yet I study him, really study him for the first time, outside the hospital, outside the chaos. The scars are there, still faint, but real. The way he stands, always ready, always controlled, like if he stops, everything falls apart. You think this is normal? I ask quietly. No, he says. Then why do you live like this? Another pause, longer this time, because it works. For who, he does not answer. That tells me enough. I exhale slowly, shaking my head. This is not protection, I say. This is control, maybe, he replies. But it is the only thing keeping you alive right now. The room feels smaller, suddenly the air heavier. I move toward the window, needing space, needing something that is not him behind me. I hear him shift, just slightly, not following, not retreating, just. They're watching, always watching. You can leave when it is safe, he says, after a moment. And when is that? He does not hesitate when I say it is. I almost laugh again, but there is no humor in it. This is not temporary, I say, turning back to face him. This is you deciding I belong here. His gaze locks onto mine, steady, unbreakable. No, he says quietly. This is me deciding you matter enough to keep alive. That stops me, not because of what he said, but because of how he said it. No arrogance, no threat, no control, just truth. And that is somehow more dangerous than anything else. I look at him, at the man everyone fears, the monster everyone whispers about. And for the first time, I do not just see what he is. I see what he is trying not to be. The moment they take her, everything inside me goes quiet, not calm, not controlled, just empty, like something essential has been cut out. I stand in the middle of the room, staring at the broken glass. Where she was minutes ago, the guards are talking, moving, reacting, but their voices sound distant, like they belong to someone else's world. They got through security. One of them says, we are tracking movement. Now I do not respond because I already know what this is. This is not about leverage. This is about me. They did not just take a Witness they took the only thing I did not see coming, Ava. My hand tightens slowly into a fist. I feel the shift in my body, the way control starts to slip the way something darker rises to take its place. Find them. I say, my voice is low, but it cuts through. Everything in the room, every movement stops instantly. Now the hunt begins before the word even finishes leaving my mouth. Boston does not sleep. That night it fractures. Every contact, every territory, every shadow I own gets pulled into motion. Names surface, locations shift, people who thought they were invisible are dragged into the light. I do not plan, I do not negotiate, I dismantle one by one. Men who have worked under me for years look at me differently now, not with fear, not just fear, with something closer to disbelief. They have never seen me like this, not like this. Hours pass, or minutes. I do not track time anymore. I track results, bodies, information, movement. Nothing is fast enough. Nothing is enough. Until finally it breaks. A name, a location, a warehouse near the docks. I am already moving before the sentences finish. The car barely stops before I am out. The building stands quiet from the outside. Empty, abandoned. It is not. I can feel it inside. Smells like rust and oil and something worse. Something that lingers in places where people are held against their will. I do not wait for backup. I do not wait for strategy. One walk and the first man barely has time to react. My hand closes around his throat and slams him into the wall. The crack echoes sharp and final. Where is she? Chokes, tries to speak. I tighten my grip just enough to remind him how fragile breathing is. Downstairs he gasps. I drop him and keep moving. More come. They always do. This time I do not hold back. There is no precision, no clean execution. Just force, raw and immediate. Each movement faster, harder, louder than anything I have allowed myself. Before, this is not control, this is rage. By the time I reach the lower level, my hands are already stained again. The door at the end of the corridor is locked. I do not slow down. I break it. And then I see her. She is sitting on the floor, back against the wall, wrists bound, but upright, not collapsed, not broken, alive. The world narrows to that single fact. I cross the room in seconds, cutting through the restraints like they are nothing. Ava, she looks up at me, and for a second nothing else exists. Not the blood, not the bodies, not the war I just brought with me. You took your time, she says. Her voice is steady, not afraid. Even now something inside me fractures completely. I check her, quickly, bruises surface level. No major damage. They did not get the chance. Good, we need to go. I say. She does not move immediately. Instead, she studies me, her eyes moving over the room. The aftermath, the destruction. You did this, she says quietly. Yes, for me. The question hangs there, heavy. I do not answer because I do not know how to. She stands slowly, her legs unsteady for just a second before she regains balance. She does not look away from me. You lost control, she says. I did not deny it. You think this is what protection looks like? I exhale sharply. It is what it takes. No, she says, stepping closer, her voice still calm, still infuriatingly steady. This is what happens when you forget you have a choice. The words hit harder than anything tonight. Choice. I stare at her, at the woman who sat in a room waiting for me, surrounded by men who would have killed her, and still does not look at me like I am something to fear. You think I had one? I ask. Her gaze does not break. You always did, she says. You just stopped using it. Silence crashes down between us, louder than any gunshot for the first time since this started. I do not know what to say, not because I do not understand, but because I do too well. Behind us, footsteps echo, my men arriving, securing the space, restoring order to what I destroyed. But something has already changed, not outside, inside. I look at the bodies, the blood, the path I carved to get here, and for the first time, it does not feel like power. It feels like something breaking. I turn back to her. We are leaving, I say, quieter now. She nods, but her eyes stay on mine, searching, not afraid, not impressed, just certain. And that is when I realize this is not about saving her anymore. This is about what I become if I keep choosing this version of myself. Because for the first time in my life, someone saw the monster and did not run, and now I have to decide if I stay one. The city does not change after that night. It still moves, the same lights still flicker the same. People still walk past each other pretending they do not see what lives underneath, but something. Inside me is no longer the same. I stand at the edge of it all, watching the world I used to control. Like it belongs to someone else. The power is still there, the fear is still there, one word from me, and everything moves exactly how it always has, but I do not move it. Ava stands beside me, not close, not distant, just there like she always is, unshaken, unowned. You are quiet, she says. I nod once. I am thinking that sounds dangerous. Maybe it is. Silence settles between us, but it is not heavy anymore, not like before. It feels different, like something has finally slowed down. They are waiting, you know, she adds. The people who follow you, they are waiting for you to decide what happens next. I know that is the problem for the first time in my life. I am not reacting. I am not eliminating threats. I am not proving anything. I am choosing. I look at her, then really look at her the same way I did the first night I saw her standing over me, covered in blood and refusing to take my money. You could leave, I say quietly. This world is not yours. She does not hesitate. I know then why stay. Her answer comes without fear, without doubt, because you are not what they think you are. I almost laugh at that. They are not wrong. No, she says, stepping closer, her voice steady. You just never gave yourself another option. The words settle deep. Another option. I turn away for a moment, looking out over the city, the territory, the empire built on control, on fear, on becoming exactly what everyone expected me to be, a monster. And now I finally understand that was never the only path. When I look back at her, something inside me feels different, not weaker, not softer, clearer. This ends differently. I say. She studies me like she is waiting to see if I mean it. I do. The next moves I make are not loud, not violent, not driven by rage. They are precise, controlled, intentional. I dismantle what needs to be dismantled. I cut ties that were built on fear. I shift power without destroying everything in the process. The world does not collapse. It changes. People still fear me. They probably always will, but that fear no longer defines me. Choice does. When it is done, when the noise fades and the dust settles, I find her again in the same place. She always returns to the hospital, life and death moving side by side, like nothing ever changed. Maybe for her, it did not. For me, everything did. I stop in front of her, watching the way she works, steady, focused, alive in a way I have never been. You came back, she says without looking up. I always do. She finally meets my eyes, and this time there is something there, something new, not curiosity, not defiance, something closer to understanding you. Figured it out, she says. I nod slowly. I had a choice and you made it, yes. Silence lingers between us, but it is not empty. It is full of everything we have been through. Everything we chose not to become. She did not save me. She did something worse. She made me see that I never had to be the monster. And once you see that, you can never go back. If you had the power to become something feared or something better, which one would you choose? Some monsters are not born. They are built piece by piece, choice by choice. And sometimes all it takes is one person to look at them without fear, to remind them they can choose something different. I was never saved. I was seen. And that changed everything. If this story made you feel something, if you believe people can change when given a real choice, then hit like and subscribe for more stories like this. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think. Can a monster truly become human, or does the past always? When I read every comment, and I want to hear your take.